Hi friends, welcome back to Making Manufacturing Fun, Cool, and Sexy. I'm your host, Holly Ngo. Over the past few episodes, we've talked about why manufacturing matters for America. We've talked about global competition, supply chains, and the misconceptions people have about this industry. But today, I want to talk about something closer to home for me, Silicon Valley. Most people think about Silicon Valley, they think about software, startups, venture capital, artificial intelligence, apps that live inside our phones. But what many people forget is that Silicon Valley wasn't originally just a software ecosystem. In fact, the early history of Silicon Valley was deeply connected to hardware and manufacturing. The companies that built this region into the global technology hub we know today were companies that designed and built physical products. Companies like Hewlett-Packard, Intel, and later Apple didn't just write software. They built computers, they built semiconductors, they built the physical technologies that powered the digital revolution. And in those early decades, something important existed in Silicon Valley. Factories were close to engineers. Design and manufacturing were connected. That proximity created incredibly fast innovation cycles. An engineer could design a product, walk into a nearby factory, build a prototype, test it, improve it. That loop between design, build, test, and refine was one of the secret ingredients that made Silicon Valley such a powerful innovation ecosystem. But over the past few decades, something changed. And that change created a gap that I believe Silicon Valley needs to close again. Over the last 40 years, a huge amount of manufacturing moved overseas. As globalization accelerated, companies began sending production to countries where labor costs were lower and large-scale manufacturing infrastructure already existed. Countries like China built massive manufacturing ecosystems. Entire regions became specialized in producing electronics, machinery, and industrial components. Meanwhile, Silicon Valley gradually transformed into something different, a place where products were designed but not necessarily built. Software became the dominant language of innovation. Startups focused on apps, platforms, and digital services. And to be clear, that shift produced incredible technological progress. Silicon Valley built some of the most influential companies in modern history, but over time, something important was lost: the tight feedback loop between engineering and manufacturing. When the people designing products are thousands of miles away from the people building them, innovation moves differently. Prototypes take longer, and engineers lose some of the hands-on understanding that comes from being close to production. Today, we're entering what I believe is a new era in technology. For the past 15 or 20 years, much of Silicon Valley's innovation has been centered around software, social media platforms, mobile apps, cloud computing, artificial intelligence. All of those technologies have changed the world in profound ways. Technology is becoming physical again. We're seeing a surge of innovation in industries like robotics, autonomous vehicles, space technologies, advanced medical devices, next-generation manufacturing. All of these industries share something important in common. They require hardware, they require machines, they require precision components, they require manufacturing capability. Take robotics, for example. A robot is not just software, it's motors, actuators, sensors, frames, gears, control systems, and hundreds of precisely engineered parts working together. Or take aerospace. A spacecraft isn't just lines of code. It's an incredibly complex system made from advanced materials and components that must perform flawlessly under extreme conditions. Even AI, which is often seen as purely digital, depends on massive physical infrastructure. AI runs on software, servers, semiconductors, data center equipment, all of which requires sophisticated manufacturing. Software is still incredibly important, but increasingly, the technologies shaping the future combine software with physical systems. And when that happens, proximity to manufacturing becomes incredibly valuable. This is something I see every day working in manufacturing here in Silicon Valley. Many of the companies we work with are building cutting-edge technologies, robotics systems, semiconductor equipment companies, medical technology innovators, space and aerospace companies. These companies are designing incredibly sophisticated systems, but those systems depend on real parts, precision components, assemblies that must perform perfectly. And when those engineers can work closely with manufacturers, something powerful happens. Innovation accelerates. Design improvements happen faster. Prototypes can be produced in days instead of months. Problems get solved faster because engineers and machinists can collaborate directly. That proximity creates what I call an innovation feedback loop. The faster that loop runs, the faster technology advances. And historically, some of the most innovative regions in the world have been places where that loop happens quickly. Places where engineering talent and manufacturing capability exist side by side. Silicon Valley used to operate that way, and I believe the next phase of Silicon Valley's evolution will bring that model back in a new form. Now, when I say Silicon Valley needs factories again, I'm not talking about recreating the factories of the past. They will be powered by technologies that are just beginning to transform manufacturing today. Robotics, automation, artificial intelligence, digital production systems. Imagine a factory where robots move materials between machines, where AI systems monitor production in real time and optimize performance, where engineers can move from design to physical prototype in hours instead of weeks. This isn't science fiction. These technologies already exist. What's happening now is that they're beginning to converge. Robotics is becoming more capable. Digital design tools allow engineers to simulate products before they're even physically built. All of these technologies are compressing the time between idea and production. Manufacturing becomes more flexible, more localized. Instead of giant centralized factories serving the entire world, we may begin to see smaller, highly automated production facilities located closer to innovation hubs. Silicon Valley already has several ingredients that make it uniquely suited to the next era of manufacturing. First, we have an extraordinary concentration of engineering talent. The people designing tomorrow's technologies are already here. Second, we have one of the most powerful innovation ecosystems in the world. Entrepreneurs, researchers, investors, engineers. Third, we have deep expertise in the technologies that will power the factories of the future. AI, robotics, automation, software systems. These are all technologies that Silicon Valley has been developing for decades. And when those technologies start transforming manufacturing, the places that understand them best will have a major advantage. A new generation of manufacturing systems powered by technology. Factories that are smarter, faster, and deeply integrated with the innovation ecosystems around them. So when I say Silicon Valley needs factories again, I'm not just talking about economic policy. I'm talking about something bigger. The technology shaping our future, robotics, aerospace, advanced medicine, energy systems, all depend on the ability to build incredibly complex hardware. And the regions that can both design and build those technologies will shape the future. Silicon Valley already leads the world in software innovation, but the next chapter of technological leadership may depend on reconnecting the software expertise with advanced manufacturing capability. Because the future will not just be designed, it will be built. Thank you so much for listening today. And as always, let's keep making manufacturing fun, cool, and sexy. I'll see you guys next time.